In January 2021, Wall Street was shaken by a wild yet shocking retail investor revolt that disrupted the calm of the financial markets. Thousands of everyday investors banded together on the Reddit forum Wall Street Bets and went on a buying spree for shares of GameStop, a video game retailer teetering on the brink of delisting. In just 2 weeks, the stock price skyrocketed from 17 to 483, costing the Wall Street firm shorting the stock over $10 billion in a single day. What's interesting? A post-event survey found that over 60% of the people who jumped on the bandwagon had no clue about GameStop's business model or financials. Their reason? Almost identical. Everyone else was buying, and I didn't want to miss out. This kind of behavior, where individuals abandon their own judgment under group pressure and mindlessly follow the majority, is what psychologists call the herd mentality. It's just like a flock of sheep on the grasslands. Once one sheep makes a move, the rest follow without a second thought about where they're going. To really get the herd mentality, you have to dig into humanity's deep-seated psychological needs. Social psychologist Muzafer Sharif's autokinetic effect experiment proved long ago that when people are in situations where information is fuzzy and they can't trust their own judgments, they automatically use group behavior as a reference point to ease the anxiety of uncertainty. This desire for social validation is the core driver of the herd mentality. In modern society, this mindset is everywhere. Think about how pedestrians on Manhattan streets unconsciously fall in line with the crowd ahead, or how commuters on the London Underground instinctively stand up when others do. Deep down, it's all about finding a sense of safety by fitting in. Then there's cognitive dissonance theory, which says that when someone's opinions clash with the majority of the group, they feel intense mental discomfort. To get rid of that discomfort, most people will adjust their views to fit the group. That's why during the 2020 U.S. election, so many undecided voters started supporting a candidate once their friends and family mostly backed that person, even if they never actually looked into the candidate's policies. On top of that, Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman's perspective theory explains that people are far more sensitive to losses than gains. When we see others profiting from a choice, we often mindlessly follow because we're scared of missing out on gains, what's known as loss aversion. That's a big reason the herd mentality pops up so often in finance. In real life, the herd mentality has seeped into finance, consumer behavior, the workplace, and more, sparking short-lived manias and painful crises alike. The financial markets are basically the herd mentality's favorite playground. Beyond the GameStop fiasco, the 2008 global financial crisis was essentially a disaster caused by the herd mentality. Back then, Wall Street bankers saw their peers making money off subprime mortgages and packaged subprime mortgage-backed securities. They ignored borrowers' creditworthiness and went all in on expanding subprime lending. Everyday investors, tempted by the idea that everyone else is making quick cash, blindly bought these super risky financial products. By 2007, subprime default spiked, the bubble burst, and this collective blindness triggered a crisis that swept the globe, costing countless families their homes and savings. The 2023 collapse of Silicon Valley Bank was another example. When rumors of the bank's liquidity crisis started spreading, some depositors rushed to withdraw their money first. Then, fueled by panic, the rest followed suit. In just 48 hours, a bank run took down the 40-year-old institution. These cases prove what economist John Maynard Keynes said: the irrational exuberance and collapse of markets often come from groups mindlessly imitating the majority. In consumer behavior, the herd mentality has a more symbolic twist. Every November on Black Friday, you'll see people camping out overnight outside U.S. stores, many of them not even sure what they want to buy. They just think, everyone's grabbing stuff. If I don't, I'll lose out. In 2022, a Walmart in Los Angeles had a stampede when people fought over discounted TVs. Afterward, one shopper admitted, "I didn't even need a new TV, but when I saw everyone grabbing them, I figured I had to get one too." This symbolic bandwagoning is even more obvious with luxury goods. Outside the Hermes store on Paris's Champs-Élysées, nearly 30% of the people waiting in line for hours will admit they don't even really like the bag they're after. They just say, all the influencers on social media are posting it, If I don't have one, I'll seem out of touch. Apple's new iPhone launches are another classic example. Every time a new model drops, there's a line kilometers long outside the Apple Store on New York's Fifth Avenue. Some people even travel from across the country to be there. Many of them never even use their old iPhones. They're just following the trend that everyone around the world is buying this. Behind this behavior is young people's desire for group belonging. By buying what most people approve of, they gain social acceptance and avoid feeling like an outsider. In the workplace and tech world, the herd mentality also shapes how companies make decisions. Silicon Valley is supposed to be a hub for independent thinking, yet it's constantly falling into the trap of bandwagon innovation. In 2021, Meta, formerly Facebook, announced it would pour $100 billion to shift into the metaverse. Within 6 months, techs like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon jumped on board, launching metaverse projects. Over hundreds Malamid Minus, a size of tech companions also rushing into the metaverse, ignoring Thyronic capability and market needs. But by 2023, most metaverse projects stalled because Zeta were in a major tech burn through surreal scenarios. Meta lost $13.2 billion on its metaverse business in 2022 alone, and many small companies went out of business. This big companies lead. Small ones follow. Pattern is just a herd mentality in the workplace. Company leaders, scared of missing out on the next big tech wave, that's FOMO, or fear of missing out, abandon rational strategic thinking, and just copy what the industry leaders are doing. The same thing happened with AI. After ChatGPT blew up in 2023, nearly 100 tech companies rushed to launch ChatGPT-like products without even figuring out what to use them for. Most of them failed because their tech was shoddy and users didn't stick around. The rise of social media has only amplified the herd mentality's impact on society. In 2014, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge went viral on social media worldwide. Everyone from celebrities like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg to regular people poured ice water over their heads to raise awareness for ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. At first, it did a lot of good for charity, but later, it turned into a bandwagon stunt. Many participants didn't even know what LS was. They just did it to get likes and attention on social media. Some people even got frostbite from copying the challenge. Even scarier, the herd mentality acts as an accelerator for spreading misinformation. During the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, rumors like vaccines cause autism and drinking bleach prevents COVID spread on social media. Even though authorities debunked these lies over and over, tons of users shared them blindly, thinking, if so many people are posting this, it must be true. These rumors spread like wildfire, and around 20% of Americans refuse to get vaccinated, making the pandemic worse. The danger of this information herd mentality is that it makes people lose the ability to tell fact from fiction. They equate how many people share something with the truth, creating a vicious cycle where the more people believe it, the more people jump on board. Of course, the herd mentality isn't all bad. When group behaviors focus on a positive goal, it can create powerful good. The Ice Bucket Challenge, for all its bandwagoning, raised hundreds of millions of dollars for ALS research. During the 2020 Black Lives Matter movement, many undecided people started caring about racial equality after seeing others protest, helping build social consensus. But more often than not, mindless following leads to lost rationality, wasted resources, and even social crises. That's why the key to dealing with the herd mentality is cultivating the courage to think for yourself. When investing, don't just follow others' profits. Do your homework on market rules. When shopping, don't get swept up in group trends. Focus on what you actually need. When getting information, don't trust something just because most people believe it. Check the facts with reliable sources. As the philosopher Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. The same goes for group behavior. If you don't think for yourself, you'll end up lost in the crowd. From Wall Street stock manias to Silicon Valley's tech bandwagons, from Black Friday stampedes to social media misinformation, the herd mentality is an unignorable part of how modern society works. It's both a natural instinct to seek safety and a clash between individual reason and group emotion. Understanding the psychology behind it isn't about rejecting group behavior. It's about staying clear-headed when everyone else is swept up. After all, true pioneers never need to follow others' footsteps. Instead, they find their own way amid the noise.